Welcome to Bonehead Weekly. And this week's topic I wasn't excited about until I made myself sit down in my office on company time and start doing research where they were paying me to do something else that I wasn't doing. I probably shouldn't put this in some sort of recording that could be viewed later. And James, was this you or Chad? I don't remember.
I think this was me. Was it
It
me?
was it was James, but James forgot about it, and then I reminded you, so I want to take credit for
All
It's
right
not
then.
a matter, but once I started diving down,
it.
I have 4 pages worth of stuff to talk about. What's the topic, James?
We're going to talk about fake brands. Now, in modern film,
You mean
there
like
are
us?
tons of uh, uh, there's tons of product placement in a lot of movies now. There were for a long time, quite frankly, but it has hit a fever pitch. But we're going to talk about brands that aren't real that pop up in films, and the fact that there are so many that when screenwriters are world building and they take the time to create a fake brand, the ones that stick with us are just phenomenal. And they become part of the pop culture that surrounds the pop culture. So films, books do it. Video games have tons of fake products. There's all of these different things in place. And so why not? Let's talk about the fake brands that catch our attention.
Yeah. So, do you want to go first or me or who? Who? What should we do? Because, like I said, I got a bunch.
You want me to kick it off? Because if I steal one of yours, I don't care. Um, the one that I think comes to mind, there are two brands that are linked to one director, and and I think the fact that you can watch the things that he's involved with and see them pop up, and so I want to start with one of Joe's favorite activities, of course, being smoking, Red Apple cigarettes.
Yeah, it's on my list. Yeah, it's not necessarily that it's cool. It's just nicotine's a drug and it's calming.
Yeah, well, and in all fairness, it's became linked to Quentin Tarantino. It's became linked to him in that even movies that he's only slightly part of, like Four Rooms,
Hmm.
Red Apple Cigarettes is in it because he's involved in it.
Yeah, same
That's
thing.
what that's what Tim Roth as the bellhop smokes.
Same thing with, may I say, Big Kahuna, since you're going to go ahead and pop this.
That's yeah, that was the other one that immediately came to mind. I mean, both of those, because I honestly, if somebody just says Big Kahuna to me, I automatically go, that is a tasty beverage.
Well, and there's a Big Kahuna place here in Lexington. It's just not a burger. Well, they serve Hawaii or basically Hawaiian food, and it's really good.
It's
Shout out.
really, really good.
It is. It's really good. Big Kahuna's really good. I never get to go over there. It's off Winchester Road.
Everybody make a note. Joe and I agreed on something.
Yeah, but it's right
Maybe,
off
maybe
Winchester
that's where
Road.
we should go when we go out and do our thing.
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to go
for it.
someplace fancy.
Fine, we'll go to McDonald's again.
When have we
Jeez.
ever gone someplace fancy? Well, we did last year.
Where'd we go last year?
That Japanese, high-end Japanese place, and we had sushi.
Is it that fancy though?
I thought it
Oh,
seemed
I'm
It's
fancy.
not
sorry.
like
It's
Jeff Ruby's or Ruth Chris or Tony's. We never
see,
go to those
that's the
places.
problem we got here is literally anywhere that somebody packs my tray for me is fancy to me.
Yeah, it's
You
Yeah,
got them
true. Yeah,
upscale
we're we're
roots.
we're we're high. We're low for
they
the.
wrapped our utensils in a napkin.
Yes, yes.
There's cloth napkins if I remember correctly. That's
Yeah.
whew,
But
whew.
back to the Tarantino verse.
And there's no
Also,
clown or nothing.
there was a clown, but the fucker was trying to kill you. So back to the Tarantino verse. Big Kahuna's even from Dusk Till Dawn.
Mhm.
That's where the boys go. That's where George Clooney gets the burgers. It says Big Kahuna on
Oh,
the bag as soon as he gets
forgot,
it. I mean, they
forgot.
do a shot to make sure that you know that that's a Big Kahuna burger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No,
You
I mean,
forgot.
so yeah, Red Apple cigarettes, first seen in Pulp Fiction, 1984. It's in Kill Bill. Uma Thurman walks by a billboard for them.
Hmm.
I've already said this is what the bellhop smokes in Four Rooms.
I
Um,
didn't remember that one.
the Gecko brothers, they throw a pack of them out of the car, an empty pack out of the car, and from Dusk Till Dawn.
Hmm.
And Robert Rodriguez uses them in the Planet Terror part of Grindhouse because that's what the barbecue owner passes the pack, and it's Red Apple cigarettes. So
Makes sense. Yeah. All right. Here's mine. And mine is so big that, and it's part of the culture now. They actually have the restaurants. There's two or three of these that I'm going to talk about. The restaurants now exist. But mine, I've got to say, because we have a lot of people out there, Pizza Planet from Toy Story.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So much so, we were sitting in traffic off of New Circle the other day, getting off to go to the house. Kids in the back seat. Dad, yes, that's the Pizza Planet truck. And I'd be a son of a bitch if it wasn't in the late 80s, early 90s Toyota two-wheel drive yellow. And he's right. The only thing it was missing was Pizza Planet on the side of it.
Funny.
So, and you can go to Pizza Planet now if you go to Hollywood Studios in Florida, which is part of Disney. For my friends out there that I know, I have to explain this to. See, Disney is 4 parks. I know you two know this, but I
well,
find
now
myself
actually,
explaining this
Disney
more than once.
Worldwide
Yes.
is what, 8 to 10 parks now?
Well, that's true, but Disney World itself in Orlando is Disney World, and there are 4 parks, not counting the one. And my computer, the other one, finally restarted and started playing Bonehead, which I guess is a good sign. And that is different than Disneyland, folks. Disneyland is in Anaheim, California. And
Or
there
Disneyland
they have
Paris.
Disneyland. They have Disneyland, but they put Paris beside of it,
There's also Disneyland Hong Kong.
which I mean is they built Paris next to Disneyland in France.
Yeah, but just to show Disney up, they traveled back in time and started in the early medieval period.
Yeah.
That's
This is
something to
back in
get you.
time movie. So
And everybody, and once you get in, you get a free case of the plague.
the brand is infinitely, it's all, I've got to read some of this. It's on Andy's wall. It's on the Pizza Planet truck. It's in, and makes a cameo appearance in every Pixar film to date, besides The Incredibles, by the way. I'd have to go back and double check that. But according to the research, it is in every Pixar film except The Incredibles. Strange to consider that in early versions of Toy Story, Pizza Planet was actually going to be a miniature golf course called Pizza Putt. I don't know. Now it has the real life Disneyland, and this may be wrong, but it has it that it's in Disneyland. But I'm pretty sure they built the Pizza Planet. Didn't they build a Pizza Planet in Hollywood Studios?
That seems right.
Seems right. It is not
Well,
in
they
the.
have Pizza Rizzo there.
Yeah, maybe it's the
It is
Rizzo.
not in The Incredibles because Brad Bird forgot to put it in.
True?
True.
Huh. Because best in the 1950s America, and it's also, I didn't realize, not to mention the robot bouncers at the entrance are really and truthfully based on Cylons. They got it as close as they could from Battlestar Galactica without actually building Cylons.
To borrow from The Price is Right, close as they could without going over.
That's exactly right. So Pizza Planet, I thought, was one of those. There's a ton. Like I said, once I actually started thinking about it and then Googling it and going through it, there's a ton. But Pizza Planet, I have about 5 more that is like, yep, I know what that is. Chad.
I went in a completely different approach than either one of you. So,
Oh, you tried to go the right way.
yeah, I would never say that anything I ever do is what is called the right way.
Except for your politics.
uh,
Getting back for calling me Trump.
yeah. Oh, what?
All right. What
I
what'd
thought-
you do
wait.
that was right?
I don't know what you said, but did you call me Commie Trump?
I
No.
said getting back for calling me Trump.
Oh,
No, but I'll be honest now. I think that's our new tagline.
Commie trunk.
Commie Trump.
Bonehead
Tommy
Weekly,
Trunk.
the home.
Commie trunk. This damn trunk's red as hell.
Now, 2 of the 3 of us like to have a
fucking
drink.
car. Sorry.
Now, the 2 of the 3 of us like to have a drink every now and then. James kinda every
Yeah, it
once in a while.
depends. I mean,
Every
Yeah.
now and then, I'd like
Every
to
now
have
and
more
a
and
drink.
more actually. I've been thinking. I was actually joking with Joe before you got on. I've been thinking I need to get some Benadryl.
This
It's not
IPA
a
edition
drink, but I bet I could
Jameson
mix it.
is getting low. Christmas is coming up. Anyway, you're
low.
talking about drinking, Chad?
Get low,
Yeah.
get crunked.
So, I would be curious to have a drink that is so potent that, essentially based on what I saw in this movie, that it caused a nuclear winter.
I
I am
think I know which
talking
one you're
about
talking
Jean
about.
Kayak. No, no. Joe. No, no, no.
Of all the alcohol brands you're going with the obscure one? Keep going.
Yeah. I'm talking about Jean Kayak's Acme Applejack from spoilers for an episode we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. My favorite movie of 2024, Hundreds of Beavers. It is my favorite movie of this year. And it's only in the movie for the first 5 minutes. About it's the main character works at an Applejack farm making this very potent alcohol that where everybody sings and is happy, and they're just happy to get drunk, but he gets a little too drunk and causes an explosion that sets off a winter. But the way that they set this Applejack farm up, it's like Disneyland. Everybody's happy and dancing and doing everything they can to make this very potent alcohol, and it just makes you want to drink as you're going along with it.
You know what they would have at this Applejack farm, I might have, and they
What's that?
and I bet James could still screw this up and not be able to procure me Applejack cheese at this farm to bring back to me that he says does not exist in the state of Wisconsin. If only we
Honestly,
knew someone who was in Wisconsin, we could ask about this.
it is still the funniest thing I ever experienced driving to
This is an
Wisconsin.
obscure joke or inside joke between James and I.
Well, no, I mean the short version of it is you used to have a custodian that would bring you Applejack cheese when he visited Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I was going to Wisconsin for a conference or something, and I went up there and go, no, it was for a wedding. And I go to one
A
of I
cheese
stop at four
chalet.
different, yeah,
They're
yeah,
off
the
every
cheese
exit.
chateau,
Yes, whatever
all
it is.
these different cheese places. I stop at four of them. And the last one I stopped at, I was like, listen, a friend of mine, he had somebody that brings him back Applejack cheese. The guy looks at me with complete disdain, just incredible. There, what? We Applejack cheese? That's ludicrous. Now we have blueberry cheddar over here.
Yeah, and come over here and get this cranberry brie, but fuck you and your
Yeah,
Applejack.
yeah, Applejack. That's insane. Like just his condescension and hatred for me at that moment was
Oh my
amazing.
God, James, I forgot. That is who brought it. Oh, what was his
Yeah,
name? Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Lloyd. When I worked at Moorhead, I thought Jamie, but it wasn't. It was Lloyd. Thank you for reminding me of that. I forgot about Lloyd.
So anyway, yeah, I highly,
At least you didn't forget about Dre.
but that's my first brand. I just wanted to talk about John Kayak's Acme Applejack,
Jean
and
Bajot.
I'll talk about more in depth about Hundreds of Beavers in our best of episode. But I strongly encourage everybody to check this out. It is my favorite movie of the year. It's the only comedy in so long that's made me genuinely laugh hard.
Is this streaming?
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's the only comedy that's made me laugh multiple times. It's available to stream on Prime and free on Tubi and Pluto TV.
And
Um,
they had it at the Kentucky with members of the
yeah,
cast.
James told me about this, and I was so mad I missed it because I had heard about this movie for over a year, and I've been wanting to see it, and I never knew they had this screening at the Kentucky.
Okay.
So
I will watch it.
I don't honestly, Joe, I don't think you'll like it, but if you do like it, let me know.
I'll try it.
He doesn't like most things.
Yeah, no.
That's not true. I sat through the Wolf.
Woof.
I only took 2 sips. The Wolf of Smoke Hollow or whatever it was called. Wolf Hall or whatever. It was okay.
Okay.
It's a werewolf picture.
Their
Mhm.
wolf, their castle.
Mm-hmm.
So is it me?
Yes, I can start talking
I'm
about
in,
how a friend of the show has a new werewolf movie out that we should go see.
there's several I'd like to go see. I'm evidently on a trend, gentlemen. I don't smoke, but I've got another cigarette brand, and I think the reason I'm obsessed with this cigarette brand, probably more than Red Apple, is because it has jumped between genres. It is the go-to. I don't care if you're making your drama about somebody that's slowly descending into a drug addiction. I don't care if you're making your war film. I don't care if you're making your conspiracy television show. I don't care if you're making your teen drama. This brand has popped up in multiple places. Morley's cigarettes. If you're not familiar with Morley cigarettes, you need to get out of Iraq and watch some good television from the late 90s and early 2000s.
I'm just stunned that James is talking all about tobacco products.
I've
He
been
loves
thinking
it.
of starting. I've decided I don't want to keep living. Anyway,
Is it?
Brenda from Beverly Hills 90210, when she goes to Paris and comes back, you remember that, Chad. She has a smoking habit. What does she get caught smoking? Morley brand. Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer smokes Morley's. Heroes, Morley's. The characters that smoke Morley cigarettes. Um, Actually, it predates that though, because the American soldiers in a little film called Platoon, what do they smoke? They smoke Morley's.
Where
But
does it come from?
there's two. I don't know. That's actually I can't find the history of it. So
Huh.
I I don't know where it comes from. But there's two characters, or two. Well, one's an actress, and one's a character that I love. I love both these figures. Um, Christina Ricci in the movie Prozac Nation, which if you haven't seen, it's a drama. I recommend it. It's really good. Smokes Morley's. And obviously anything with Christina Ricci gets my attention, but also one of the most famous smokers in pop culture history smokes Morley's. And I say one of the most famous cigarette smokers because even though we eventually learn his name, he still is referred to solely by his habit. The cigarette smoking man from the X-Files
Yeah.
smokes Morley's cigarettes.
And you don't know where
So
it's from.
I tried to do some quick research. Y'all can probably Google it and find it in 5 seconds, but I couldn't find it when I was looking for brands. But Morley Cigarettes has popped. I mean, that's not just one studio, that's not one company, that's not one director. It has became the shorthand for we need a cigarette brand. Why wouldn't we use Morley's? Um, so just FYI, it's Morley's. Morley's is a great um pop culture reference, and it seems to be fading away now. But of course, less people smoke on television now.
Yeah.
It says
Because
it can be contributed to Alfred Hitchcock.
well, that may make sense then. That so it's old. And I can see a bunch of these shows wanting to make allusions to Alfred Hitchcock, so that makes sense. But yes, absolutely. As far as a fictitious, I know it's weird that I've done two cigarettes in a row, but as I was sitting here thinking, because what made me think of it was the cigarette smoking man. I knew he smoked Morley's.
There is a whole
Um,
article about the origin of Morley cigarettes on metv.com.
ha, there we
I
go.
watch Me
I'll
TV.
check
Me
that.
TV, can I give a quick shout out? Not only has Svengoolie on Saturdays, but Me TV also now has a classic cartoon spin-off network, and they run a lot of old Warner Brothers cartoons. So if you're flipping through the channels and you're high as a kite, turn on some bugs.
Or if you're too high as a kite and you feel like you're covered in bugs, get medical help.
And
It's
listen
a
to
bad.
Bonehead on the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure, I mean, as you space out, make sure if you do one thing for us, because listen,
Just push play.
when you've got the DTs,
If
you
anyone
need
knows,
to
it's
tell
James.
everybody that's around, the only thing that's going to save your life is that they also have to listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
I was
basically.
one other quick note on magnoliaprops.com, you can buy a pack a pack of Morley a Morley cigarette pack for $26.
You should get one of those for
Huh.
Christmas for all of us so we can just carry it around and we'll all wear the shirt with a pocket. I mean, I already have several and we just have them in there.
Also on
And
that
I'll, of course, being classy, roll mine up in my sleeve so
That's
I
a
can
good
get
idea,
those
James.
dirty sharks.
You know
You
how
also
I know
can
he's
buy-
classy, Chad? He thought of that. I didn't think of that.
you also on this site, guys, can buy a pack a copy of the Four Muses for $150.
Before
The
what?
Ghostbusters 2 photo painting of
Ah,
them holding the baby.
yeah, the ending that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, hold on, Chad. I looked up this prop. It doesn't contain real cigarettes. So they want me to put my own in there?
Yep.
No.
We'll go buy you a pack of Marlboros. That's only
I do
what,
love the.
$75 now?
I actually, yeah. I mean, my mother was telling me because she does the shopping for my elderly aunt who doesn't drive anymore, and she smokes. She goes through about 2 cartons every 3 weeks as her average, and whatever brand she smokes for 2 cartons, my mom says it's almost $300 now.
My friend Dave still takes them to his sister from here because she lives in another state. I mean, he'll go buy
What?
X amount.
Why the hell would I want to buy Decker's whiskey glass for $70? We're getting off topic.
Yeah. All right, here I am. My next one's going to be
Rock me
food.
like a hurricane.
My next one's food, and I'm so going back and forth between food and drink, because I love them both. But there's this one thing that is so exceptional if it's done well, and it's amazing. And I'm a connoisseur of only two or three things, and one of them is fried chicken. And if I could go to a Los Polos Hermanos and have some fried chicken and have Gus bring it out to me, all right, I'm going to be a little worried because I'm going to wonder why Carlo is there,
Yeah.
but that's beside the point. Los Polos Hermanos is the chicken place run by Gus in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul as a cover for what? Selling that sweet, sweet
Sweet.
meth.
I have my winter beanie upstairs with Los Polos Hermanos on it.
I've got a question, Joe,
Yeah,
because this wasn't going to be one of my picks, but since you picked fried chicken up,
Gus Fring, by the
I
way.
actually, um, because I've obviously seen Breaking Bad. I enjoyed it very much. I waited till it was done before I started watching it, but
But you
I
like
He
really
Better
did.
Call
prefers
Saul better,
but
Uh,
right?
but he prefers Better Call
Better
Saul.
Call Saul, I think, is a more fascinating arc, and Saul's a more sympathetic character,
He is more
I
sympathetic.
think.
However, they're two completely different shows about the same thing.
Just don't
Oh yeah.
ruin Better Call Saul because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my God.
Um, Hold on. Even though I just said I didn't watch Breaking Bad till it was done, what are you waiting for?
Four.
Nobody two to come out. Started filming. Anyway, um,
Yes, James.
given the choice, Chad or Joe or Chad, both of you can answer this.
I don't want to answer.
Well, then don't, because nobody cares anyway. Uh, you have an option. You could
Yeah.
have you could either get like the chicken tenders from Los Pollos Hermanos, or
No,
you
they
can get
actually
a
have fried
bucket.
chicken. They have like
Okay,
chicken.
okay. Well, would you rather have that or Captain Spaulding?
Oh,
That's
well, hold
famous
on.
fried chicken.
Hold on.
What now?
Can I go? Okay. I would rather go to that meth den ran by Gus. If
What?
if if this was reality, if this was an actual reality, I would rather go to Los Polos Hermanos because I think, depending on how I just behaved and my attitude, I'm much more likely to get murdered by Captain Spaulding than I am by Gus in the middle of the day getting fried chicken.
Well, and arguably,
And I don't want to get
arguably,
murdered by either. But I would
arguably though, if
love, if you could promise me I wouldn't be murdered, I would love to go to Captain Spaulding.
well, and that's the entire thing. Arguably, if now hold on, let me just if you consult the first the Old Testament being House of a Thousand Corpses,
Yeah,
other than people that try to rob him,
I agree. And he gives them some directions though to some place where they end up screwed. But yes, I
yeah,
agree.
but he literally tells them, "Don't you shouldn't go there. That's stupid. Why are you doing this? Your entire book is stupid."
Yes.
I mean, he in his own way, again, if you only look at the Old Testament of the trilogy, um, but anyway, or actually you could argue because they also pop up in what's the animated one?
Oh, Super Beasto, El Super Beasto.
Super Beast. I almost said Super Satan. I'm like, Super Satan's
Super
not what it's
Satan.
called.
Why did I do peace signs?
Um,
I don't know.
Super Satan.
anyway,
Mm-mm.
um,
He's like a Satan with a cape.
a satin cape because
A
it's got to be
satin
satin.
cape.
Satin for Satan.
Yes.
That should be our charity. We
Sad
collect
for
satin. Anyway, but no. So I because all I can think is that's got to be relatively good chicken.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to do both. And they have had pop-up markets for Los Polos Hermanos,
Yeah.
similar to another one that we could talk about later. But I don't know. I loved both shows. I would like to go back and rewatch Breaking Bad. I intended to do it afterwards. Better Call Saul. I totally don't argue with what James is saying, but they're two of the most brilliant television shows I've ever seen. And I love them both, and it's so hard for me to throw any kind of criticism in either one of them. They're just so damn good.
No,
But
both of
they
them
are two
are
totally different shows. It's hard to explain to people who don't watch them. There's a coworker, and she and I will talk about it. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to explain to somebody. It's like, you mean it's a prequel? What do you mean it's a different? Well, it's a totally different kind of show. And you're right.
and to
The
me, like,
arc is slightly better. The Walter is a little tweaked from the jump.
yep. But there's something. I mean, Saul descends, but for me, I can much more if I'm trying to put myself in those roles. I can see myself in Saul's shoes way more than I can see myself in Walter White's shoes.
And Saul has a better. No, I can't talk about it because James hasn't watched. Chad hasn't watched. Chad, you're next. I let's go. Let's go get some fried chicken. And
Yeah. So, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go a little crazy on my next brand, simply because it's wrong. It's a terrible product. But damn, if the side effects of this product aren't hilarious. Got to talk about Zygrot 24, a product released by the Everything But Shoes Corporation from the movie Freaked.
I got that confused a little bit because the one in the stuff that they use, I didn't realize how much it sounded like in the repo, the genetic arbor, isn't it?
The opera,
Opera.
yeah,
It's Zy something too.
Yeah, it's Zygrist. So,
It's something like that too.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's in the song. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shocker, that guy stole something from somebody.
Hey, I will not have you besmirch Repos of the Genetic Opera.
I know I'm the one of the only three of us who did not care for that at all. I could not
It's
finish it.
It's
It literally
really,
anno-
it's probably his best movie actually.
it annoyed the hell out of me. I could not stand the singing.
It's
Thought the singing was awful.
Anthony
your
Head did a really
hatred
good
of
job.
Paul Sorvino knows no bounds, and I
Oh,
cannot understand it. Why do you hate Paul Sorvino?
sure. Also, isn't Paris Hilton in that?
But
Yeah, it
yeah,
was.
but she sings better than Bill Mosley.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
but to me, that's also the most realistic musical in that, let's face it, if you're somewhere and people burst into song, they're not all going to sound great, folks.
Yeah.
If I sing, it's gonna sound like somebody done went and took that hacksaw to that cat's head.
But let's talk about a better movie, Freaked.
Yes.
It is
Is
a
that
movie.
available on DVD now?
No, it was Joe got a copy of it, and I was gonna go buy. Me and Joe were gonna buy a copy at the exact same time, and I said, I just can't spend the money right now. And then shortly after that, they discontinued it, and now you cannot get a copy of it anywhere.
Is it so you can't stream it anywhere? It's not like a
No,
big version on
it's
YouTube
not
or
a,
anything?
it's I don't know about YouTube, but you cannot get a hard copy of Freaked anywhere.
I had this problem trying to show Jaws 4. I had to go buy a damn Blu-ray of Jaws 4 so my damn kid could see it. By the way,
Yeah,
Chad, you know what Jaws 4 is? Not
His
terrible.
good.
favorite movie now?
No, no.
And that was the one my mom watched repeatedly.
I watched it several times too, but I actually forgotten 50% of it. What I
Ugh,
remembered was out of place.
ugh. Um, but yeah, Freaked, if you're not familiar with it, because it is an obscure film, uh, it is dearly loved by me. I don't
It's a
that
good
they
movie. It's a good
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I own it.
It's directed by
Ahead
Bill
of
from
its
Bill and
time.
Ted. Yeah,
Alex Winter.
Alex Winter. Thank you, James. I completely blanked on Alex Winter's name. Um,
Who is phenomenally talented.
yes,
He
he
doesn't get
is.
the credit he deserves. He is
No,
very creative. He is. Shudder had him as one of the hosts for the Halloween thing they did for like
yeah,
Best
and
Japanese. He was so
he's in a
good in that.
movie in Shutter. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Crap. I'll have to look it up when it's not my turn. But he was phenomenal in it, and he's in really heavy makeup. And if you don't know that it's him, you would not know. But anyway, but freaked. Zygrot 24 is this chemical that Alex Winter's character is a celebrity. He's the spokesman for the Everything But Shoe Corporation. It's just a pesticide. But it turns out that there's this man who runs a freak show, Elijah C. Skaggs, where it was Randy Quaid before he went batshit nuts.
Randy Quaid's pretty good in that.
He is. He's amazing.
But by the way, real quick,
Hold on, just real quick. Funniest two lines in the movie, even though there's several. Styrofoam cup.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
I do not remember.
Matter of fact, I think on Shudder they did a best one-liners that if you've seen the film you'll love, and that's the scene that they show.
Yeah. I just got one more. Styrofoam cup. So I just love doing that line every now and then.
Really?
Anyway, but yeah, the Zygrot 24, what it does is if you apply it to a human, it turns him into a hideous freak. And that's why I like this brand, because if you get it on you, you're either going to become a person with a sock for a head, Mr. T dressed in a woman's outfit, Keanu Reeves as a wolf boy.
Yeah.
I was going to say that if you haven't seen the film, go find it somehow, because the cast on it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Brooke Shields, William Sadler, Mr. T, as you said, Deep Roy, Morgan Fairchild. I mean, you've already said Randy Quaid, but I mean, it's just got so many great.
Yeah, it really does. It's an astounding cast, and the movie just came and went. It was going to get a big box office release, and then the studio just kind of at the last minute chickened out on it because it had a budget, but the studio chickened out on it and just kind of dropped it at the last minute and just kind of put it in a few theaters, and it bombed horribly. We all found it just in the video stores.
Yep.
I actually think I may have saw that on the
I
site.
found it on cable.
Yeah,
That's how I found it.
Well, I was going to say
Go ahead.
that's the history that we lost when we lost video stores, because that's also how I discovered Boondock Saints was going into a Blockbuster, because originally Boondock Saints didn't get a release. It was a Blockbuster exclusive for the first 3 months. And I went into a Blockbuster and I said, dude, I'm having a terrible day, because I was just looking at the shelf and I'm like, I just want something, I don't know, that moves, that has, and he goes, oh, try Boondock Saints. And I was one of the first people to rent it at that location. They had 2 copies. And I went home and loved it.
But I'll end it on this and switch it to James. Any chemical, any brand that will create 2 machine wielding Rastafarian eyeballs is a product I will get behind. James.
Man, there's so many, but I think, we're a pop culture podcast, and I think there's one brand that I can bring up. It originated in a TV show, but it's been in a film now. It's been in video games. It's been in comic books. It is Universal. And if you're a fan of the show, you immediately know, because even in the show, it is so big that it has its own theme park, which has a song that is very similar to a certain It's a Small World ride.
It's a small
And that song is Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you. You have a Duff, and I'll have one too.
I can't believe I didn't even think of Duff.
You were talking about alcohol earlier, and the whole time I was shaking my head because I have a half a page on Duff here, and I was like, well, I won't do Duff because Chad will do Duff.
I didn't even think about it, guys. I can't believe I didn't think about it, Joe.
Well, but and so that's the thing. We've done the fact that Quentin Tarantino gave us Big Kahuna Burger,
right,
and Red Apple. The Simpsons gave us Duff Beer and Krusty Burger. And if you go to a certain theme park that's not Disney yet,
Universal,
you can.
It won't be for much longer, so better get it while you can.
Yeah, but I can't imagine that once Disney claims it back, they're not going to do something with the Simpsons, right? They have to.
We won't get a Krusty Burger.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
I've had
Pizza
it there.
Rizzo.
Yeah, we don't need to. Yeah, I'm good.
Krusty beer I had in the Flamin' Mo.
And again, I'm good.
But Duff and the Flamin' Mo is probably where you need to just kind of, and the Big Pink Donut. Kid and I devoured a big pink donut.
Oh yeah, yeah. I even had some of one. The kids
Yeah,
got
well,
one
I
too.
didn't eat the whole thing, James, but yes, used to could.
Oh yeah, no.
Now
I
I'm just
mean, yeah, but
candy,
man, yeah. 18-year-old James could ate 3 or 4 of them, and then watch Chad die.
basically. But yeah, Duff, I agree. I mean, I just had my kid there this summer, and we ate lunch there and sat in the actual bar and had the best time. He enjoyed it. We got to play with him. It's a great place that I guess probably Chad and James are right, and then probably another year or two, it probably won't be there.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be there, but it won't be Simpsons Land.
Yeah.
it'll get rebranded.
It'll get
It's funny though, because somebody pointed out they took the big statue thing of them on the ride, but they refurbished it and brought it back because a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's the beginning of the end." They put it back out. They cleaned it up.
I have no, I don't, and the ride is fun. It get second or third time I had a hard time with because my kids love the ride, and it's a little you get a little sick, but that's third time probably. But
We
it's the
rode
Back
it.
to the Future ride. I mean, it
Yeah,
it was repurposed itself for years when the park was built. That was originally Back to the Future.
somebody made the joke online. I'm like, that would be the way to do it. Is that when they do lose their rights to the Simpsons, since they still have the DeLorean sitting out there, they
Yeah,
should just put it right back to Back to the Future and just put up a sign saying Biff changed the timeline
that's funny.
and the
And they
Simpsons
still have the
never
train
existed.
and the DeLorean.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, somebody made that comment, and I'm like, that would be awesome. And my dream, if that got announced, is I would go down the day it was going to switch back. I would ride the Simpsons one last time, and then come back and ride Back to the Future again. But but yeah, no, Duff in the world of the Simpsons has a theme park. It sponsors a bunch of stuff. It obviously is Homer's beer of choice, and
Duff
and
Man.
we learn that it is also, quite frankly, also the beer that is repackaged as um Paul Tuckett Pat in Family Guy.
Yeah.
The brewery there basically is just repackaging it because on the Simpsons Family Guy crossover, they put off the label and it says Duff underneath, and that's what starts the fight between Homer and Peter.
It's been a while
Uh,
since we've done one.
yeah. And so anyway, no. So I just think that is a sign because if you do visit the theme park, my son loves them. They have an orange soda type thing that comes in a Duff can. He loves them. I had to buy him 3 or 4 there,
Yeah.
and actually, it's not high in sugar or anything. I even had one. So the fact that they've now made it kid friendly for the theme parks and everything, it's
Well,
hard
the
to
Flaming
escape.
Moe at the park doesn't have any alcohol in it. I don't think. I don't remember it having alcohol in it when I had it.
Yep.
I didn't have it this last time. All right. I'm having a hard time with my third pick, gentlemen, because there's about five or six I could talk about, but there's two big ones, and neither one of you mentioned them, and I'm shocked.
Should we do a follow up to
I was
this? Because
waiting on
I
my
have a
big.
lot
I
more.
was waiting on my big one till last. I didn't know if you all were going to bring it up. So
I have a lot more. Do we want to do a part 2 to this eventually, or do we want to
Eventually.
do
Let's
honorable
not do it
mentions?
next
Okay.
week.
No, no, we're busy next week. We've
Yeah,
got stuff and things.
we have an interview. So I'm having a hard time with this, and I kind of want to just go ahead and steal it. I can't believe none of either one of you, especially James, hasn't said Stay Puffed.
It was on my list. That's why I said there's two. But I love. Yes, we all agree on Ghostbusters.
mhm.
But I would argue
Yeah.
outside of, I mean, Stay Puft is well known if you're a Ghostbusters fan. I think Duff's better known.
Duff is better known across culture. I agree with you.
Mhm.
I agree with you.
I
But
love
I
Stay
do
Puft,
believe
and,
if
and
I
it was
put
on my
up the
list.
Stay Puff, if they've never even seen the movie, they know what that is.
Oh yeah,
Don't you think?
yeah, oh yeah,
And
yeah,
even if they
and
don't,
especially if you're of a certain age,
yeah, yeah.
or if you're the children of people of a certain age that are obsessed with things.
Mhm. They also created one of the most memorable. And by the way, I think you've talked about this before. The No Ghost logo is one of the five most noticeable,
It
memorable.
is the number one most
It's
at
one of
one
the top
point.
five in the world that
Yeah,
people.
like the Golden Arches, I think are still number one, but the No Ghost logo used to be number 4 or 5, and it's a fictional company.
Yeah. And Stay Puft disappeared in all of it, one way or the other, in some form of fashion. Even when Slimer wasn't in Afterlife, they had the mini puffs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's easy to stick the brand in there. It's a lot. I thought there'd be more history about it, and I just didn't really find a lot. Do you all know how it was created?
I don't, but you want to hear the funny part?
What?
Probably till I was about 15, I thought it was State Puff.
Stay. I can understand Stay Puff
No,
because I thought it was Stay
I thought it
Puff,
was State Puff.
but because I always
I
missed the T.
I always kept hearing that way. I don't know why. And then I finally was like, oh, it's Stay Puffed.
Hmm. Interesting.
I was hearing State Puff till I was 15 years old.
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard for me not to mention it. I know I've been slammed before about picking the one, but there's a ton here. But
Yeah.
that's one where it's just part of my childhood. I mean, in my house, the two most, what's the word I'm looking
I honestly
for?
didn't even bother. I thought you guys were going to bring it up. So I was like, I'm not going to do it.
I'm trying to think of what's the word, ubiquitous? What is the word I'm looking for, James? Is there's
Yeah.
tons of
I
things
mean,
in
that
my
would
house.
work. Yeah.
As
Um,
Ecto, there's a Lego Ecto One here, and I don't know, probably Stay Puffs and Ecto Ones are probably the thing that I have the most of in different varieties.
yeah, for me it would be the Enterprise, but no, I agree. I mean, as far as pop culture, yep.
I guess mine are turtles by accident.
By the way, do you want to know the origins of it, Joe?
Sure,
It's actually kind of interesting.
I
Dan
don't know
Aykroyd.
off the top of my head.
Dan Aykroyd conceived the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for his initial script for Ghostbusters. And if you don't know the history of this, his
That is,
initial
I did
script
know it was
was
one of the things that actually carried over from his original batshit script to what they actually made was the
Right.
Stay Puft character. I did know that. Sorry,
he
James.
chose he chose a marshmallow character for a reason. And the reason was he wanted to show something that was cute and looked pure could become blackened and evil, which a marshmallow, if you burn it, turns
Yeah.
blackened and evil. Um, Originally he had multiple characters and Stay Puft was only one of them. He wanted to have multiple huge monsters attack the city,
Hmm.
kind of a kaiju type situation. However, they scaled it back once Harold Ramis and they realized we got to scale this back. Um, the funny part about it though is it is actually based on a real person. The appearance was based on a real person. Here's that story. The likeness of Stay Puft was inspired by Peter O'Boyle, not Peter Boyle, Peter O'Boyle, who was a security guard at Columbia Pictures, whom Reitman met while filming his previous movie, Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah.
According to Sam Delaney of The Guardian, Stay Puft's familiar mascot combined elements of real life brand ambassadors, the Pillsbury Doughboy, and Bibendum, which Bibendum we more often call the Michelin Man.
Uh-huh.
But they based his movements and everything on the security guard. Which, by the way, what a claim to fame.
Yeah, basically.
Nobody ever went, we made an icon and we based it on you, James. I mean,
Most of the time.
I don't know how Peter O'Boyle felt about it, but so loosely based on a security guard and then combining the fact that marshmallows look pure and white, fluffy and innocent, but if you burn them, they get blackened and dark. And so that's why Dan Aykroyd made it a Marshmallow Man.
All right, Chad.
So I'm going with an obvious one for my last pick. I got to go Cornetto.
Mm.
I don't think it's that obvious.
You
I
don't think?
probably, I mean, well, for nerds, but yeah, it's not as obscure as your last one, but I don't think it's that obvious.
Yeah, I'm going to obscure for my first two, and then I just had to go because neither one of you brought up Cornetto, so I had to go with the Cornetto trilogy.
That's a good one.
We have three great movies named after a fake brand of candy from
Ice
Edgar
cream.
Wright's
Isn't it
ice cream. I thought it was. I thought he also was a chocolate bar too. In one
And
of his,
actually, I hate to be this
just thought it
guy,
was ice cream.
Chad, but you're absolutely wrong. It's a real brand. It premiered in Italy in 1965.
oh, my apologies.
Yep, you messed up, Chad. It's
You
real.
better apologize.
Then I'm going to
for
wipe that
cultural
out.
insensitivity.
I'm going to wipe that one out of the pick. Let's screw that one. And I'm going to do, James talked about two cigarettes. Let's talk about my cigarette pick. I'm going to do my pick of Nails.
I wondered if nails would come up. As soon as you said you were going to do a cigarette, I'm like, it's going to be nails. It's going to be nails.
Yeah, I got to do Nails. Nails is the cigarette of choice of Silent Bob from the Kevin Smith films, the from all View Askew films. Whenever Silent Bob is in, the cigarette of choice is Nails.
I swear I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
I
Really?
don't think I've ever
Really?
paid attention to that. No, because I almost went with something else earlier, and I don't think I ever paid attention to that as many as I've watched, and God knows I have watched them.
By the way, Chad, you
Yeah.
found the company that sells the prop for Morley's cropstore.com. You can get nails, including the nails menthol pack.
I am surprised that Kevin Smith did not sell Nails himself.
Ooh. Do you know how expensive your pack was?
Yeah.
This company is out of England and it is 395 pounds for an
Yeah.
That's
authentic
like
screen
7,000
replica.
rubles.
It's $409 or 389 Canadian
Yeah, I'll
dollars.
pass. Yeah, I don't know why Kevin Smith isn't selling boxes of nails from his brand. Uh I mean, Kevin Smith is an entrepreneur himself. I thought he would
No,
have jumped all over that.
entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. But yeah, no, that's always Quentin Tarantino always had his brand, and that is the brand that Kevin Smith has used in all of his movies is Nails cigarettes. So yeah, that has to be my mention. He obviously it stemmed from the fact that he couldn't afford to use real brand, so he chose that as the brand that he put in all of his movies, and then it just became, of course, with Kevin Smith. He always has those running gags, those running things, and that he just, as a result, that's in every single one of his movies.
Yeah.
I, and I know we said we would do a sequel to this, but I want to bring up it goes beyond an honorable mention. So
I
I want to
really
bring
thought
it.
Cornetto was a fake product. Damn.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's not available as much in the United States, but it is totally real. Um, I want to bring up one just to close this out because we could wait for the next episode, but I'm
I've
kind
got
of shocked.
I've got two honorable mentions. Are we going to save them?
Well,
I'm gonna
if we're gonna
save
do a sequel,
mine.
but I
Okay,
want to do this one to close us out
I'll
because I'm
save
shocked
him.
nobody brought it up, and we'll close it out with this one, and then we'll come back to this topic. I can't believe nobody mentioned the company that is universally known for its constant involvement with the dangerous harming of coyotes.
It's right here. I have it. I was going back and forth, and
But
I
not
was going to save
only
it to the next episode, actually.
it's too ubiquitous. It's almost too easy because Acme,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
not just
right
Looney
here.
Tunes. That's why I know it. But Joe, do you have a list of everybody that used Acme?
I just
No,
said one. John
so
Kayak's Acme Applejack.
most of it was between 1949 and 1966, actually.
Calvin and Hobbes
Yeah,
used Acme. The Far Side used Acme.
this does
Rocky
not
and
have a complete
Bullwinkle.
list. No.
Rocky and Bullwinkle used Acme. The Simpsons, when they show Itchy and Scratchy, if they get a product, what is on the side of the box? Acme.
Yep.
Here's a throwback for you. What is the name of the candy factory that Lucy and Ethel work for in the famous scene where they end up having to eat the chocolate because the assembly line
Acme.
goes too fast? It's Acme. Um, Carmen Sandiego, what detective agency gets hired to find her? The Acme brand detective agency.
I was almost said
And
Sterling and whatever. I've been watching. Been going back and watching Archer to cheer myself up. Sometimes. Sorry, I couldn't remember the
the
name. But
it's a great.
Oh,
I,
you need to go back
the
and just listen to
Andy
the theme song to Where in the World is Carmen San Diego. Oh, Rockapella.
the
No,
Andy
that's not the
Griffith
name.
show. The Andy Griffith show. Who supplies the fuel for Wally's filling station? It's Acme brand fuel.
I don't even know the
And
name of
another
that off
quick
the top of my head.
example, another great example of how ubiquitous Acme is. I couldn't close this episode out without going ahead and do Acme. Chad, you should know this one. It's one of your all-time favorite films. Who supplies all the products in The Last Action Hero? Acme.
Acme, yeah.
They're all Acme brands.
There's a
And
ton
so-
of movies that
and,
have
you know, hey, hold on, listeners. I appreciate Last Action Hero. It is nowhere near one of my favorite films.
Oh my God! See, he's putting on airs right now. What,
The
you, what you
problem
don't know
is there's
if
40
you
good
spin
minutes
his
of movie
camera
in that
around right
2-hour
now.
picture.
There's more than 40, but yeah, there's a
maybe
huge chunk
40,
of that
50
movie.
minutes of good movie in that picture.
Give me 60.
Do you know the
I'd have to
origins
go back
of
and
what?
rewatch it.
Do you know the origins of why Acme became such a ubiquitous name, though? It's
Yeah,
actually a true
well, I
story.
bet you're going to tell us, Dr. Jerkface.
I do. I am going to tell you a little history for you.
Yes.
Why would companies all of a sudden start to change their name to Acme around the 1920s and 30s?
Uh-huh.
Phone directories. You're looking, it's alphabetical order.
Yep.
You don't want to be called Aardvark.
Yeah.
So what can you do that's going to put you very close to the yellow pages in alphabetical order? There were two common ones that started to be used. The other one isn't as funny. It's Ace. So you'd be Ace Hardware, Ace
Mhm.
Bandages, Ace blah blah blah. And if you didn't want to do Ace, you would do Acme. And so there were a ton of companies that all of a sudden started calling themselves Acme. So when Looney Tunes needed a shorthand, Acme is what they picked.
Hmm.
There you go. So that's the history of where Acme comes from. It was because businesses realized, oh, if we're Thomas brand plumbing, how many people are going to go if it's back in the day when it was only in alphabetical order? How many people are going to get flip through till they find Thomas plumbing? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to go, I'll start at A's. I need something in the A's. So we're going to be Acme or Ace or whatever. So there you go. That's the origin of that as well. I hope you learned something today. Tune in next. I really almost wanted to do a line like Bill Cosby used to do on Fat Albert. The gang learned something today.
Hey,
Maybe you did too.
Don't
We
drink
can't make
this
these
drink.
jokes anymore.
Stay away from the pudding.
Rohypnol.
And there it is. And with that, we will do more fake brands on the next episode. 3 episodes later.
After we do, sometime.
We're going to break it
We'll
up.
come
We got
back
an
to it.
interview coming up with somebody we
We
can't.
got an interview. We're going to do our best of our
Yeah,
episode.
we'll do it.
We'll do a Christmas episode.
Where's the Christmas episode?
I don't know what Christmas episode we're going to do. We kind of ran the gambit on Christmas and we ended up repeating it last year.
Yeah, I don't know
Actually,
that
I've got an idea I've got an idea we can do for a Christmas episode, but I'm not going to say it. You'll just
because
have to
somebody
stay
will
tuned.
steal it. Stay tuned. This has been Bonehead Weekly.